Smith in there, and Lucky Luisi will be at fullback. Nick Bradley-Galalua on one wing in the halves. Luke Dawn partnered by Thomas Luluai. The forward pack then for the Broncos. Up front, Francis Stevenson and Steve Trindle, the starting props. Neil Budworth at hooker, a former Warrior himself. In the second row, Solomon Hamono, partnered by Lee Hopkins, who's captain. And at loose forward, Philemoni Lolohea. For London Broncos, their substitutes, Mark McClendon, Joe Mbu, Mark Tukey and Anthony Armour, and they're coached by Tony Ray. Wigan Warriors then make just one change to last week's team. No Danny Orr. There's the back line. Their captain Chris Redlinski at fullback. In the three quarters, Martin Aspinwall, Stephen Weil, David Violecki and Brett Dallas. In the halves, young Kevin Brown alongside the former London Bronco, Dennis Moran. And the forward pack, starting props, Jerry Siusiu and Jerome Guisset. Terry Newton wears the 9 at hooker. Bob Bezic in the second row alongside Danny Tickle, and Sean O'Loughlin locks the scrum. The substitutes then for the Warriors, Danny Sculthorpe, Wayne Godwin, David Allen comes in, and Joel Tompkins. They are coached, of course, by Dennis Betts. And referee Steve Ganson is just about to blow time on. He's got the ball in hand. Now time to hand to our commentary team. Our special studio guest this evening is St Helens coach Ian Millwood. He's joined by Steve-O, Phil Clark and Bill Arthur.
An identical start to the season for both these sides. 1-2, lost 2, and both sitting in the middle of the table at the moment. The Broncos a place ahead of tonight's opponents, the Wigan Warriors. The Warriors aim to be in the top 6. The Broncos aim to stay there. And this could be a very evenly matched side. The Broncos with the first touch of the ball, and Trindle to take it up. Plenty of changes here at London during the close season, and already it looks as though some of these new players that Tony Ray, the Broncos coach, has signed have started to have an impact, judging by one or two of the results. And a club record victory against the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats in Super League, 72-8, and victory against Warrington as well, and signs, Steve-O, that the Broncos could mean business this season.
They've certainly got a lot more depth. A lot of people was saying that they wouldn't be the same without Dennis Moran, who of course is playing tonight for Wigan. But I must say, Luke Dawn, Thomas Luluai, they really have cemented a wonderful halfback combination. That's far too deep. No problem for Redlinski. And it's got to have a pretty solid side, Bill. When you look on the subs bench, Mark McClendon can't even get in the starting lineup.
David Violecki then for the Wigan Warriors, coming off the back of a very tough game for them. A victory over the Widnes Vikings last time out, but they were really pushed all the way in that match. And it'll be interesting to see how they back up in this game. There is Jerome Guisset, recent recruit for the Warriors. Back from French Rugby Union, where he was playing with Breve, of course, a former Warrington player. And Jerry Siusiu. Siusiu will have felt that from Francis Stevenson. The two number 8s going head to head, and just a little tap from Jerry Siusiu after the ball had gone. A little tap that would probably flatten most people. And there is Sebastian Lucky Luisi, the Broncos fullback. I wonder how lucky he is going to be tonight. John Wells, who's restored to the Broncos team for this game, having missed the last one.
Pretty solid defence, though, by Wigan. They're moving very quickly indeed. I was at that game, Bill, you know, when they just took Wakefield apart, the Broncos. They were superb that day. But I must say, I don't think Wigan will give them as much latitude today as they did on that particular game a fortnight ago.
Budworth up against his former club there, the Broncos number 9. And Thomas Luluai, another one of the close season recruits, puts the kick in, but again it's easy pickings for the Warriors captain Chris Radlinski, although it was a good follow-up chase by Lee Hopkins. Interesting to note rumours during the week, given the Broncos' problems, that Hopkins had actually been linked with Wigan Warriors and a possible move. During all that turmoil, well, he's still here at the Broncos. Meanwhile, Kevin Brown felt that from Tyrone Smith.
Did he ever? And he's sort of limping a little bit, is Brown. Came off second best, but what a hit! And that's the sort of defence that absolutely just pulverised the Wakefield forwards.
Dennis Moran with the kick, and then flattened in the follow-up by Lee Hopkins.
Bill, London get the ball almost on the halfway line here because of a result of the effort they put in defence. Last week they were outplayed by the Bradford Bulls, particularly in the forwards, and they seemed in the first few minutes of this game to have made a much stronger start.
Here is John Wells. Broncos on halfway, plenty of candidates out there for a Man of the Match award. The decision rests with the media and Dave Hadfield's their spokesman. Dave.
As Steve has already alluded to, one thing London aren't short of this season is generals. Dawn, Luluai, McClendon, they can all do that, just a matter of how they're going to dovetail together best. But one of the best players at Bradford last week was Tyrone Smith. Nobody's seen much of him over here, but he's got one of the best natural sidesteps you'll ever clap eyes on. Dennis Moran wouldn't be human if he didn't want a big game against his old club today. Alongside him, Kevin Brown, and a lot of people at Wigan who've seen him all the way through the juniors, so we'll only see the best of him when he gets to run an extended run at standoff. And starting today with Danny Orr's injury, that's exactly what he's going to get.
Lulai's crossfield kick diffused. In fact, with the aid of a Broncos hand there, Sykes got up and the ball went forward, and O'Loughlin it was who tied it up for the Wigan Warriors.
Bit unfortunate as well. Paul Sykes deliberately went high, tried to just tap it back. Oh, it's great footwork.
Dallas almost away. It needed a good tackle from Tyrone Smith to bring him down. Amazingly, Brett Dallas yet to score in Super League this season. Terry Newton, little offload, and the knock on there from Bob Bezic. Couldn't take that pass as Newton just shoved the ball at him, really.
Well, that's a shame, really, because Newton had dragged in 3 would-be defenders, and to get the ball away in that position, you've got to make sure that there's a little bit of a chink in the armour on this London Broncos defence. But we've seen that already. Newton controlling the ruck, and London very, very slow to get their first and second markers in position.
It's the Broncos in possession with Tyrone Smith, signed from the Sydney City Roosters during the close season. Jerry Siu very involved in this evening's game. He's been very involved for the Warriors already and placed on report twice already this season since joining the club. He's that sort of player.
It's a problem for Wigan, really, because they've, again, almost a penalty there against Jerry Siu. They've conceded more penalties than any other team in Super League after 4 rounds, and Siu, Newton and Sculthorpe have been the major culprits.
Dawn's kick. Wells was chasing and he seemed to be held back in that chase, but under the nose of the touch judge, obviously nothing wrong there.
Well, I'm not so sure. John Wells had a really good look at the merry flag waver. Oh, it's been hampered back. I mean, that should be seen quite easy. Well, Martin Aspinwall certainly just put his body across the line then.
It was a good kick from Lulai. In fact, it was Luke Dawn's kick, I beg his pardon.
That's another advantage that the Broncos have had this season, something that they've lacked for quite some time, is that they've got 2 very good field kickers in both Dawn and Luluai.
O'Loughlin with the kicking duties for the Warriors there, and Sykes, who by nature is a full-back, but he's done very well so far this season in the centres for the London Broncos. He's back there to tidy up. And that's good defence from the Wigan Warriors that time.
You've got to hand it for that Jerry Siu. He really does put a lot of heavy work in. Just indicates to me that Dennis Betts has said, listen, you're out there for 15 minutes, give it all you've got.
There's Nick Bradley Galilawa.
All the way, good effort.
Nick Bradley is known as on the training ground. Luke Dawn. Oh, great little break from Dawn, but just clung on to his shirt tails.
Keep coming back up.
Did Sean O'Loughlin. Lulai puts the crossfield kick in, and that is danger straight to Brett Dallas. And Dallas looking for a chink in the Broncos' armour. There wasn't one there, fortunately for them.
Tony Ray has to get the message out. Okay, that's the 4th occasion that Luluai has gone for high kicks into the corner. Maybe just stabbing it along the ground, a lot more confusing for the defence to get to.
Ian Millwood with us up here on the gantry. They really are testing each other out these early days.
Well, you're all talking about the quality involvement of the forwards, and the people who reap the benefits that you've already mentioned are the hookers. Both teams have got 4 outstanding hookers on their field. Here's Newton on the ball, one of them.
And Kevin Brown is away. He's got Radlinski in support, and Radlinski takes that pass and he will get his first try of the season. Classic Chris Radlinski on the shoulder of the man making the break, who was Kevin Brown. And the Warriors fans who've made the trip to Brentford see their team captain get the first points of this one, and simple but effective, and the Broncos defence cut to pieces up the middle there.
And not surprising, Neil Budworth is in back play. You can see him there receiving treatment, but this is pretty poor defence. Francis Stevenson really should have got to him on 2 occasions. Can't take it away from Newton, but look at the inside pass. It's all about balance and positioning yourself, and the way that Kevin Brown just drew in the full-back. Radlinski, it's an easy run, but you've also got to pay credit. A couple of seconds before, London had possession, and Jerry Siu, he stole the ball one-on-one, well within the rules of the game, but the inside pass from the hooker Newton, and Brown, he impresses me every game I see him, Kevin Brown. We all know about the skills of Radlinski. Well, that was nothing short of superb.
Danny Tickle, 16 goals to his name already in this Super League season. And there's another one. And the Wigan Warriors, really with their first threat on the London Broncos line, have come away with the points.
Yeah, that's right. I thought coming to the game today that the major threat really for the London Broncos would be both Wayne Godwin and Terry Newton. In the middle of the field, their activity and their ability to keep the ball alive with good runners into holes will be the problem, I think, for London Broncos today. They need to tie up both Newton and Wayne Godwin when he comes onto the field.
Okay.
Well, that Wigan try interrupted Ian Millward in full flow.
Yeah, actually, I'll put the Jonah on Budworth. He's gone down injured and he looks in a bit distressed way at the moment. And Newton come out with credit, but we keep talking about the hookers, and it's the quality of go forward will determine how well they play here tonight. And you are right, we're talking a lot about Newton and Goodwin, and now we're going to have to talk about McClendon, because it's going to be all by himself now. But we've got a talented Richards of hookers in Super League, and most teams now are playing 2 in their 17, which shows how dominant they are and how influential they are to the team.
McClendon is on for the Broncos, and Radlinski chasing again, that time the little grubber kick. And the referee, Steve Ganson, initially waved that there was 6 to go there because Broncos got a hand to it. Now he's looking to the touch judge to find out how that all came out and who'll get the head and feet at the scrum, and it'll be the London Broncos, because ultimately Wigan knocked on.
Beautiful little chip over the top, wasn't it? All about Luis, he certainly under a lot of pressure, but what a start from this guy. You know, if there's one guy that will always sort of present himself as a support player, none better than that man at the full-back, Radlinski. He just reads the game so well.
Let's find out the condition of Neil Budworth. Saw him limping off. Chris?
Not good news for London Broncos coach Tony Ray. It's very unlikely Neil Budworth will return to the field. A left knee injury. It looks pretty serious at this stage. The doctor's just monitoring his condition. The good news, though, for Ray is he's got a ready-made hooker in Mark McClendon, who slots in nicely. He played very well in the opening match of the season against Warrington. McClendon wearing the 9, or playing in a hooking position, although after the Salford loss was dropped to the bench, and he's come on as an impact player. This time around, though, he's got about 70 minutes to prove to coach Tony Ray he can play the whole match at hooker.
And there is McClendon. And the Broncos fans getting behind their side. Dawn working the run around. Here's Tyrone Smith. Smith to Homono. Homono looked to get the ball back inside to Smith, but the route was blocked. But the Broncos threatening here until that ball goes back, and they're going to have to drop on that, and they do. They managed to get the ball back, and they shouldn't really have done.
Well, he says he claimed as a referee, Steve Ganson, that it came off the leg, and that's the second occasion they've been very fortunate. Sloppy play by London.
Lulai. And there was
use of the Shepherd.
Yeah.
That's a shame. I don't recognise many of these Broncos players. We've seen mass changes since last season, and I also don't recognise the way they're playing the game, because there's more ball movement at times in this first 12 minutes than we saw at times in a whole game. It was a very simple approach to the sport they took last year, Steve-O. Now a lot more ball movement.
I think you've got to credit that as well, because we mentioned about the individuality of Dennis Moran. And a lot of people perhaps in the past said if you close down Dennis Moran in the London shirt, then virtually the Broncos are finished. But with the likes of Dawn, Luluai, they really are classy players, and I made the point in boots and all before the season started. They may have lost Dennis Moran, but they've gained 3 halfbacks in place of him.
Meanwhile, Sean O'Loughlin's little fumble gives the Broncos head and feet at that scrum, and they come away now with Mark McClendon. Lulai. Here's Francis Stevenson.
Third, Wigan.
Former Wigan prop, of course, Stevenson, earlier in his career. And the Broncos with Luke Dawn moving the ball out wide, and now it's with Lee Hopkins, and Hopkins doing well to keep that ball alive. McClendon it was who was tackled. Lulai trying to duck underneath it, he stopped just short of the line. That's the 5th tackle. Good pressure from the Broncos here. McClendon. Dawn puts the kick in, and beautifully taken by Brett Dallas, like a slip fielder there as that ball rocketed towards him, and that's not all he took. A bang on the head as well.
Yeah, stray boot, or maybe the knee. Put his body on the line here, bang. I'm not so sure that the London attackers were onside.
Infield, Terry.
They certainly appeared a lot quicker than...
Back up, Lee.
Well, I don't think they're that fast, are they?
Back it up a bit. Back up level with him.
Tyrone Smith looked to be offside. Unfortunate Wigan there not to get the penalty.
Chunky character Tyrone Smith, there he is with the tackle. Here comes Terry Newton.
Second, right, London. Back and hold.
Newton tackled on that Wigan 20-metre line. Jerry Siu.
Third, and again, lads, here.
We saw earlier, Bill, that the prop forward Siu gave away a silly penalty and a high shot on John Wells there. And I'm sure that Dennis Betts, look, he has been warned already this season a couple of times. He's got to get the message out. He can't afford to be giving silly penalties away.
Jerome Guisset. Guisset mobbed by Broncos defenders. Really good scrambling defence from London at the moment, putting Wigan on the back foot. Bob Bezic
10 metres, lads, 10.
Plays the ball, and then it's fielded downfield by Zeb Luisi.
First, back here, Wigan, back up.
Great tackle there by the Frenchman, Jerome Guisset.
Bill, the interesting thing from both coaches' point of view here at the moment is London be very happy the amount of field position they've had in the first 16 minutes. They've completely dominated field position. It's just not converting in points at present. And the other thing is, Dennis Betts will be very happy with their defence. They've had to do a lot of defence near their line. So both aspects of their game, both coaches are very happy at the moment. London want to convert the points. Wigan want to keep holding them out.
Dawn. Sykes trying to burst onto the ball. He's tackled by O'Loughlin.
Come on, Jerome.
McClendon. Here's Luke Dawn again, really in the thick of it for Dawn, but and they get the ball back to Tukey, and Tukey will trundle towards the line. He tried to stretch out, and the ball gets away from him, and it's picked up.
Well, what on earth was Tukey thinking there? Was it 10-pin bowling he's playing here?
I don't think he could get to line, Steve-O, and he thought his only option when he couldn't quite reach out was to just throw it back, support. Does it fall in front of Sykes, or does it fall him? Falls to Tickle.
It's pretty difficult, though, Phil, to pick up a ball that's rolling on the ground.
It was the last tackle anyway, though. He was about to turn it over.
It was worth the gamble, but...
That, in fact, was Mark Tukey's first touch of the ball as he came on the pitch. And reminiscent of Paul White for the Huddersfield Giants last night when he came onto the pitch and scored with his first touch. That time Tukey couldn't quite get there.
It's getting a bit lively out there as well, Bill, because there's quite a few high shots going around.
O'Loughlin with the kick, and it comes straight into the hands of Thomas Lulai. And McClendon will get there. It was a risky pass, and fortunately for Thomas Lulai, his teammate was alert to the situation. Well, Tony Ray has said already this season that if you want to see exciting rugby, then this is the place to come in London. It's certainly eventful rugby.
Well, this is deliberately knocked out then, that should be play on.
Back up nice and square, one behind the other.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the official gives here, but
back up nice and square,
deliberately knocked down by Sculthorpe.
Wigan's possession, Steve. I think what he's implying is that, you know, unless it's an intentional strip, if the arm's coming over and hitting the ball, then maybe it's the ball carrier's responsibility to keep hold of it. I think that's how.
Well, that is a real turn up there, because Wigan have given that ball away at the scrum and London have won it against the head.
And do you know why that comes about, Bill? Because the forwards these days, they've got no idea of using their boot in a scrum.
Well, London really are throwing caution to the wind here, and that ball's come loose. And the referee, Steve Ganson, looks towards his touch judge. Tyrone Smith was impeded. In fact, the ball was stolen in the tackle, and the Broncos get the penalty. It really is.
Yeah, definitely ripped out. Should have been a penalty there, but it's amazing to see the scrum there. The Wigan forwards just looked at it on the ground as though it was an Easter egg.
So the Broncos on the attack again. Tukey, Lulai.
He needed someone coming straight. They were all moving out to the left. Got to have someone coming back on the angle to fool the defence.
Luisi is there. Here's Lee Hopkins. Hopkins filling the shoes, and what shoes they are, steel Retchless. Great servant for the London Broncos side, now retired of course, and Hopkins has got that job. McClendon back on the inside to Solomon Homono, but he's brought down well by Jerome Guisset. Dawn back to Tukey, and he's gone without it. What possession for the Broncos, what opportunities, and nothing to show for it.
Big problem is that they're just fluffing their chances. They get anywhere near the Wigan line and then they just panic. Settle it down, fellas.
Ian, from your experience, do you very often see a team attack one end, can't convert it into points, and then all of a sudden somebody like Brett Dallas goes and embarrasses you and scores from 80 metres?
Well, there's always a reward mechanism for good defence, and Wigan have already got it with 6, and you feel that they've held them out and they can go up the other end and score it. The other thing too is London seem to have a perceived idea too of a pass too. They can get Wigan back on the inside, so they're determining they think they've got some lazy defenders or some defenders don't tie in. At the moment they've got field position. Unfortunately for London, they're not converting it. But I agree with you, Phil. It gives you confidence when your whole team's out, and again you get field position out of it.
Zeb Luisi is trapped in goal.
Well, he has just learnt a very, very bitter lesson. He had the opportunity to go straight back into the field of play, and by the time he went on the wrong angle, it allowed the Wigan defence to get there. Tony Ray will get the message out. The full-back, once you've got it, you've got to make sure that you get in that field and play. Now they've gifted Wigan another set of 6.
Sykes with that drop out from underneath his own post, and not a particularly strong one, and Bob Bezic drives it back towards the Broncos line. So Wigan, having endured all that pressure, now have an opportunity to return the compliment, and Vialecki drifting across the field of play, still hasn't crossed the 20-metre line.
This is about the only second or third time that Wigan have actually been in an area to score a try.
Oh, and
that's a bad one.
They have bombed that one. They were so close there.
Oh, John Wells wasn't looking. Got away with it. But not the best attempt to offload from Stephen Wild. But it has been amazing. Look at the scoreline, 6-0 to Wigan. And this is about the third time. Oh, what a break!
Great break from Solomon Homono. And Homono has support outside. It's Tyrone Smith, and Smith, the ball to Bradley Kaliwawa.
They were looking with that look forward.
Thomas Lulai, they're doing well to keep this ball alive, and Lulai is still going. Really harem, scare-em approach at times from the London Broncos. Homono again. McClendon, Luke Dawn, short pass to Sykes. Good defence again, and O'Loughlin as ever is there with Stephen Wild. Joe Mabu trying to use his strength just on the field.
Psychologically built, London have to score here. They'll start getting frustrated if they can't get it, and I think they've got it.
Tukey was chasing that kick from Luke Dawn, and he's claiming the try, and he's got the try. Well, Mark Tukey close with his first touch of the game, and for a big guy, he was amazingly agile there.
He's like a midfield player sending through a centre forward in soccer, wasn't he? You saw him time the run and he timed the kick to perfection.
Superb. All the pressure here, and then they made the break. Such quality, the big centre. That would look forward to me. I thought the pass from Tyrone Smith really should have been brought back by the official, but full credit to the Broncos. Look at this. Neat kick, thank you very much indeed. He showed a lot of speed. Didn't show that much speed last year, but he certainly is this year. Now then, this is the one. Oh, that's a mile forward.
There might have been a hint of a deflection in that. It just seemed to move in the air. Well, Mark Tukey celebrated his 28th birthday last Wednesday, and that's a very good way to continue the celebrations. Here's this pass. Tyrone Smith. It goes forward.
Well, let's not call it a mile. He's not going to say, I don't care whether it's forward by 3 miles, 4 miles or whatever. It was well deserved of a try, and he'll be pleased with that, Tony Ray, because, do you know, Ian Millward, when you think about the fact that they've had no possession at all, and then you've caught them for offside at the kickoff, that is a sin as well. Yeah. But it's been all London, and yet up until that try there was 6 points adrift. It's an amazing game, rugby league.
Well, you talk about they've had field possession. Their best break of the game was from their try line. I'll throw the other theory to you. When you can't break a team down defensively, sometimes the best option is to kick in behind them and turn them around, and that was the option, and it was pinpointed by a front rower who showed great reaction, great vision and great skills to pick the ball up. So, you know, there's more than one way to skin the cat, Steve-O.
Well, he certainly skinned it on that occasion, Tukey. He's such a big fellow.
Here he is again, signed from Castleford following their relegation last season. Former New Zealand Warrior, Mark Tukey. And Luke Dawn it was whose kick set it up, and here come the Broncos again with Sebastian Lucky Luisi. Just about 5 metres out. Nick Bradley Galilawa goes across the field, then finds Mark McClendon. Thomas Lulai is there. Solomon Hamono, real colourful character in this Broncos side. That's the 5th tackle, Joe Mabu. McClendon, Lulai back on the inside to Dawn. Lulai once more, trying to find a gap. He's still not down yet, and the ball is still alive, and it's Brett Dallas who is on it quickly.
Well, they got away with it there. Dallas very quick indeed, but good quality build-up by London. As this game is building, you've got to take the advantage, and the two halfbacks, Luke Dawn, Thomas Lulawai, they are creating all sorts of problems for this Wigan defence. Full credit to the Warriors, though. They are getting back in numbers.
Well, they can't get those, Steve-O. He's away from the line, and people have hypothesised all season now that they don't have the size really in the Wigan side to cart the ball forward. They haven't got enough big men, and really that theory seems to be holding true because they've only made 20 metres there in 4 tackles.
They do have pace though, and that is a danger. Here's Dennis Moran, surely a danger against his former club, but a quiet night so far for Dennis Moran as it's Newton who hoists the kick, and Nick Bradley Galilawa returns the ball.
To be fair, Bill, to this Wigan outfit, they've had very little opportunity to actually build up on it. Their try, and only try, came from deep within when they made the break.
Yeah, Steve-O, we keep talking about some of their attack, and Phil's mentioned their go forward, but from a coaching point of view, what he'd be absolutely delighted with is their defence. They've only conceded 1 from a kick. Their defence has been very, very good, and if you keep defending well, you win the games, and I think at the moment Wigan are doing them well.
Mabu. Oh, Solomon Hamono did ever so well to take that ball right off his toes.
All the way, retire, blame back.
Lulai with a little kick. Tyrone Smith will chase. And Redlinski had to react to a wicked bounce on that ball.
Good option as well. Obviously Tony Ray has got that message out. Remember, early in this game, all that Lulawai was doing was getting it high, and it was far too easy for the defence of Wigan. But just a little chip over the top on the blind side, it makes the opposition think.
Jerry Siu, who's returned to the field, and Newton with another good break. And the Warriors threatening to break out of defence again. Dave Allen it was who was tackled on their 40-metre line. Now here goes Dennis Moran. Oh, and Sculthorpe couldn't quite take that pass that was fired at him by Moran.
Well, that was a clean break, good opportunity. Nice work from Moran.
Luke Dawn is pedalled backwards.
Just couldn't get to it, the substitute Dennis Sculthorpe. But I must say, you know, the quality of Terry Newton to this Wigan outfit, it shows up all the time. He was trying to get the penalty from the official. The run from dummy half, he automatically runs for the man that hasn't gone back the required 10 metres. That's silly play.
Kevin Brown and David Violecki didn't hear the call, perhaps from Steve Ganson.
And it was loud enough from the official.
Here's Tukey again, the Broncos try scorer. Dave Allen went high on Inman, came off second best.
Did he ever?
Here is Luke Dawn. Dawn to Lee Hopkins, and that's another high shot.
Danny Tickle it was on that occasion. Sniffing around was Jerry Siu. They were both lining him up, and they've gone for the quick tap. Good tactics as well. They know that they've got Wigan on the rack here.
Solomon Hamono almost there. He is there. But is he there to the satisfaction of the video ref?
Just have a look at the ground.
Well, it was very, very quick indeed. And that is try time.
That's short.
If it's on the line. Now then, is it on the line? This will be interesting.
I think that's short.
Well, it certainly looked on that position. He's got control, but it looks a try on that position.
What does the panel think?
I think it's a try. I think the first impact is on the whitewash, and then it just goes back an inch. There, that's try time. I think it's just brushed some of the whitewash. Yeah. TRY for me. What do you say, Phil?
Yeah, I'll go try.
Oh, and video referee in Ullerton goes for try as well. Solomon Hamono, another one of the new recruits, gets his third try of the season. Got a try on his debut against Warrington, a try against the Bradford Bulls last weekend. And he's stretched out there.
And they paid the price going high. You can't do it with such a big man. That was great. Just struggled on one knee, got to it as well. Newton went high. You've got to make sure you get the legs, and by the time Siu has done it, well, a few eyebrows were raised when London purchased this fella, the big second rower Solomon Hamono. And I must say, he is proving his critics wrong. They said he would not fit in to the English conditions, and he certainly has been a star for the Broncos so far.
So Solomon Hamono puts the Broncos into the lead, and Paul Sykes, with one success already this evening, looks to add another conversion. Already very successful with the boot this season, 12 from 12 in that club record victory against the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. He's got another one there, 100% so far. And London, 12-6 up now.
Well, I think that Dennis Betts will be hoping that, as in a lot of rugby league games, and is in many sports, is that the possession percentage often turns around in the second half.
Steve, you made a point earlier. You're talking about the London team. It looks a new team. Their halves look very enterprising, more ball movement. I've noticed a lot more offloads in their game, especially in their early part of the season. And if you look at the point at the moment, they've had 8 offloads in this game, and Wigan had 8.
Well, that offload didn't come off, and Wigan have come away with the ball. Joe Mabu couldn't take the pass, and so the Warriors have a great opportunity to hit right back on O'Loughlin. So much responsibility now on Sean O'Loughlin, with Andy Farrell's imminent departure from the club and injuries to other leading players. And Sculthorpe trying to offload, and it's the Broncos who come away with the ball. The coaches are going to be tearing their hair out, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a time to offload. There's, you'll encourage offloads because it's the right time. I've got to say, yeah, too many people around the offload there, Sculthorpe, but I've got to say, they anticipated the offload. They got in behind him, so when he did offload it, they were there to seize on it straight away, London. Very good coaching.
Tukey, who's having a ball out there.
Keep coming, lads. Well done.
And London, massive advantage in the possession so far, and Wells is away. It's Wells with Bradley Kalawar outside him, and Dallas just did magnificently there to intercept that ball, because otherwise the try was on.
Bill, that's the third time that Brett Dallas has saved a try for his team. He might not, I mean, last year he was Wigan's top try scorer, but he's been the top try saver tonight. Again, he gets back, just gets in between the ball carrier and the man in support, taps it back and does enough to keep hold of possession before being trapped in goal. Wigan probably have made one mistake in defence in the first 30 minutes, and the quality of the game in Super League now meant that Solomon Hamono converted that into a try. Can they do it again now in these 6 tackles?
So London's superiority in possession continues. Here is Anthony Armour.
Keep coming.
It's amazing. I just can't believe it. You know, Wigan have been down in their own quarter in that position so long. I must say, you know, they'll be paying rent soon. They're just down there all of they can't get out of it.
Well, look at those play the balls in the opposition half. 40-7.
Yeah.
Here's Luke Dawn, and Dawn almost got through there, but Kevin Brown has snapped that ball up. London living dangerously, and Wigan living off scraps at the moment.
Well, they'll be happy, Wigan, as well. They're only 6 points away, and they've been really put to the sword.
Ian, we often hear as coaches speaking that you know, field possession is vital to winning a game of rugby league, but is it a matter of field possession over 80 minutes? Is what London doing in this first half going to help them in the second half?
Well, obviously field position is very important here, where you get the ball back to the opposition and where you start to defend. But it's the quality of what you do with the ball, Phil, and the options you create down in the opposition defence will be the deciding factor on their energy levels and how you score. So field position at the end of it, yeah, it's important, but it's what you do with it.
And we've just seen that what they do with it isn't all that good.
Wayne Godwin's forward pass adjudged to Sean O'Loughlin.
Lock in, let's go.
And that gives London head and feet at the scrum. Well, this first half has flown by. Just about 5 minutes left. Joe Mabu makes good yards.
Keep coming, Kevin.
There's been some quality rugby league football on display, and it's been all from the Broncos, apart from that initial break which saw Brown put Radlinski through.
And Bradley Galilawa has got away. That ball came off his legs. The video ref will surely go, the referee will surely go to the video ref, but Tyrone Smith flicked the pass out, and I think it came off Nick Bradley Galilawa's legs, and he followed it up.
Oh, that's a beautiful little slip through there. If it's gone backwards, then this will be given as a try. Nice step. Now then, the position. That's all right.
Oh, no.
Did he get a hand to it?
I think he got a hand
to that.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget, Steve, they can't rule on if it's forward. All they can rule on is if it's a knock-on.
Yeah, I think it hits the knee, and then I think he gets a fingertip to it. That's what the video ref's going to look at. Forget about the forward pass, as you say.
Yeah.
But I think he just rolls the nail down the surface of the ball. That's sufficient. This will be no try.
I know we're looking at that, Steve, but what about the quality of what Tyrone Smith does to tie up both Brett Dallas and David Violecki? He's as dangerous as Martin Gleeson if you give him the ball with a bit of space.
His sheer quality. He's been outstanding in this season, and especially in this first half.
As expected, that one will not count. Still waiting for his first try for his new club. And the Warriors will get head and feet at the scrum, and Tony Ray.
Well, he doesn't look too perturbed about it, does he, Bill? And that's mainly due to the fact that he also, like all the viewers and the fans here at the Crown, they've seen it on the big screen, and I think you can safely say he did get a fingertip to it.
London showing commitment in defence there. David Violecki brought to ground very firmly indeed. Here's Godwin. Darting run from Wayne Godwin.
Don't lift the legs at all, mate.
And here goes Sean O'Loughlin now. O'Loughlin had Sculthorpe on his shoulder. He's tackled just over the halfway line. Well, can Wigan end this first half by levelling the scores, maybe?
5.
Kevin Brown is tackled.
It would be a real bonus for Dennis Betts.
Moran.
Okay.
The crossfield kick, and it's Luke Dawn who's underneath it. And Sykes, just for a moment, fancied his chances there of a run, but Wigan quickly across to cover. Wells, here's Joe Mabou.
First, keep coming.
Served a good apprenticeship in the game, Joe Mabou, and was at Leeds Rhinos Academy for a while as well. Armour. Kevin Brown with the tackle. He's a very slender guy, Kevin Brown, but really he punches above his weight. This guy punches as well, Solomon Hamono. He literally punches. He's had a spell as a boxer. Following in his father's footsteps, McLinden.
That looks high from O'Loughlin. Waved away by Steve Ganson, the official.
Luke Dawn. Seb Luisi. Sebastian Lucky Luisi.
Why didn't he go for the try line?
What has he done? He was over the line.
His momentum would have taken him over. I cannot believe it. What a superb pass. He absolutely is beaten. He would have got over.
Did he pass that ball, or did Wigan manage to squeeze it out?
Well, surely he passes it. Oh, now then.
Chris Radlinski
has got to him. My apologies to the full-back. Luisi. It's a try saver, this. This should be head and feed, though, shouldn't it? And it's been missed by the officials.
It was another example of the class of this Wigan Warriors full-back, Chris Radlinski, and Wigan then, after such an effort as that, to come up with an error like that, with 2 minutes to go before half-time.
Well, it's amazing. A no try to Bradley a few moments ago. Good work by Radlinski. You know, I think the full-back gave himself up to the official. He didn't complain. Normally, if someone's knocked it out of your hand, you turn and say, he knocked it out, or at least plead to the touch judge. He just went back and accepted it. Fair play to the boy.
First, clear out.
Lee Hopkins for the Broncos. Former Parramatta junior. Mabou. And Wigan will be glad just to get to half-time with the scoreline as it is, if they can manage that. Tyrone Smith certainly lived up to his billing. Here's McLinden. Mabou. Straight up the middle from Joe Mabou.
Should be a penalty, that. And it is.
It is.
I think they might take the 2 on Oxford here. And into the last minute. I think we're quite happy to make sure that it's 14-6. Yeah.
But the way the Broncos have approached this first half, you wouldn't have put it past them tapping that.
Big decision that, wasn't it? A minute to go. Wigan did look tired. They were starting to drop off tackles, and a repeat set. Ian, what would you wanted your side to do there?
Well, it's a tough call there because, you know, the clock's on 30-something seconds. You only got about 45 seconds is a set of 6. Wigan were looking tired. They've had to do a lot of defending on their line. You know what I'd probably leave there at the moment? Phil, let the players have a shot at it. Because 2 points isn't going to win us the game. But I tell you what, 6 has got a great chance of sealing it going on half-time. Gives a lot of confidence. But the 2 points are there. I can see why they've taken it.
And it should be a formality for this guy. Paul Sykes, he's already kicked 2 from 2 this evening. And this to extend the Broncos' lead with half-time approaching to 14 points to 6. But given the possession they've had, the opportunities they've had, it should be a lot more than that.
You're right, Bill, and I'm sure that Tony Ray realises that they could have been 20 points in front.
As the half-time hooter sounds, and Sykes' kick was the final act of that first half, an enthralling first 40 minutes. So much incident. Amazing that we haven't seen more points, not for the want of trying, mainly from the London Broncos. The Warriors have had their opportunities as well. It was the Warriors who went in ahead, but this enterprising, enthusiastic Broncos side has hit back. Solomon Hamono stretching out for the try, and the Broncos ahead. These two sides in Super League, 20 times they've gone head-to-head. The Warriors have won 15 of them. But at the moment, it's the Broncos who are in the ascendancy. Whether they can cling on to that is another question. And first penalty of the second half goes against the Broncos. It's interference at that play the ball. It was Anthony Armour who was the culprit.
Just got a bit overexcited. He's a rough, tough guy. You viewers sit back and watch the sparks fly between that fella, Anthony Armour, and the prop forward, Jerry Siu.
There they are again, Armour and Siu. Great couple of names. Oh, and there's more aggravation between the two of them. And Armour is again penalised.
Well, that's telling him he won't help the cause, Bill, by doing that.
He put a hand in there to play the ball.
And to be fair, the officials have told all the players that they will not tolerate that.
And Wigan moving the way up the pitch very comfortably at the start of this second half. 2 penalties already. Moran across the field. Radlinski back to Dennis Moran. We're going to see more of him in this second half. Well, we might do if Wigan manage to get on top. Here is Moran. It's a bad pass, and McLinden will chase it, and he'll bring down Kevin Brown, but Brown isn't tackled. So Wigan with a great opportunity at the start of this second half to examine this Broncos defence. They didn't do an awful lot of that in the first 40 minutes. Armour and Siu head-to-head again. O'Loughlin dinks a little kick in, and it's picked up by Lee Hopkins bravely there in a real scrum of players.
Well, surely Stephen Wild should have been penalised there. They'd already just stopped the player with his arms on top of him, then he pushes him back another 3 metres.
Siu high again there on John Wells.
That's the second time that he hasn't missed with a winger. He has to play very carefully indeed. He walks that tightrope, you know.
And the penalty this time is against Wigan, and Dennis Betts exasperated by that.
It was, because they've just done 4 great tackles, Bill. They kept them within 20 metres. It was a perfect start for the second half for the Wigan Warriors. And, just a very cheap way to buy land.
Joe Mabu runs straight into 3 Wigan players. Danny Tickle, Danny Skelthorpe and Sean O'Loughlin with the tackle. Thomas Luluai back on the inside to Mark Tukey up to the halfway line.
Just a little bit too flat there, Tukey. Could have been better served if it hung back just a couple of metres. But you can already see the involvement of this halfback, Thomas Luluai, controlling things out there.
Flying shot from Kevin Brown there, missed completely over the top of the man as the Broncos come again with Zeb Luisi, and O'Loughlin stood his ground and thunders into the tackle. McLinden, Luke Dawn. Dawn's kicking has been very instrumental in this Broncos progress, but that time Chris Radlinski rock solid underneath it.
Well, 4 or 5 occasions in the first half they went to the air, right down the throat of this fella Radlinski. He is the best in the world, you know. And I must say that they've got to keep this ball onto the ground. If it's going to wobble around and bobble around, it's the only time that you'll really catch the fullback Radlinski out.
Jerry Siu just offloaded that ball. Dave Allen took the tackle. Here's Brett Dallas.
You just get the feeling, Bill, that, you know, the industry that we've seen from this London outfit, but every time Wigan does get a good set of 6 and get them into a good position, they have the ability, and I'm sure that they will find the break.
Well, Wigan taking a leaf out of the London book there and keeping the ball alive, but it's on the last. It's a great little kick from Sean O'Loughlin, and Zeb Luisi just let that one bounce. He's probably going to get away with it, but very nearly a costly error from this London Broncos full-back.
Well, it bounced awkwardly for him, and Luisi, as you'll see here, decided not to commit himself. hung back. He really should have put his body on the line. Well played by Brown, got the boot to it.
It's a Wigan player down.
It looks like Jerome Guisset.
It's Wayne Godwin.
Is it? Oh, just he had a knock there.
Back to his feet.
Third. Keep coming, hold it.
McClendon now. Here's Thomas Lulai. Great ball from Lulai, and Trindle was almost through the gap. Here is Lulai again. This time misses out
Oh, that was
Pomona and finds Tyrone Smith.
Well, Brett Dallas is lucky to get away with that.
It's McClendon with the kick, and
That's come off a Wigan player. Did he go for it? No.
Luke Dawn. Broncos players buzzing all over the place in support, but he couldn't find any of them.
Well, Luke
That'll
Dawn,
be the turnover.
that was silly play by Luke Dawn, because mainly to the fact that what he's done, he thought that the referee had brushed the tackle count because it definitely hit a Wigan hand, but Steve Ganson has said that the ball hit the man, and it probably did, not the other way around.
Here's Stephen Wild, ever present for the last 21 games. Wild.
And you can see by that stat that a lot of running from dummy half from both sides. It's been a fast game.
It has really been a pacey game, and Tickle
And I
almost through there.
I just wonder, Bill, you know, all that work that Wigan have had to do in that first half, a lot of defence. Will it take its toll late? Oh, he's taking a bit of a time there, Luisi.
Zeb Luisi that time did get to the ball. There wasn't a lot he could do otherwise either.
No, but at least he was in a good position. What a name there, Luisi. Sebastian.
Bill, Wigan have started the second half at a greater pace and intensity, and I think they're asking the question here now to London. OK, you did what you did to us in the first 40, but can you live and play at our pace for this second 40? Really asking some questions here now.
So Wigan enjoying the possession at the moment, and offloading well from Dave Allen. Finds Brett Dallas, Terry Newton. Here's Jerry Siu, and Trindle went for him there. And that'll be, I think, a gift, 2 points.
Stevenson far too high, right over the shoulder. Bang.
Yeah, but you don't do it. Be quiet.
He's rough and tough, and
Francis,
not the best thing to do is to talk back to the official. Give the little nod to the whistleblower.
Yes, you are.
Now then, will they take the 2? Ball into the corner. No, they're going to go for the 2. That surprised me.
Phil, you asked me the question on half-time, what we would do from a coaching point of view. What would you do in this situation? Because scoreboard's 14-6, 2 points. What does it give you?
I think I would go for the 2. I think Wigan's approach to the game and the way that the season's panning out over the last few weeks, and maybe even the next few, is they're going to have to grind out wins. They're not going to come up with a big score to win a match. The best hope at the moment is just to stick with the side and grind out a narrow victory at the end. And I think just to stay in touch here, the 2 points might give themselves a bit of confidence. I don't think that they played the first half with a massive amount of confidence because they didn't have a great deal of possession. This 2 points and some repeated possession might just suit Wigan in the second half.
Danny Tickle then, head on to the posts, about 25 metres out, and just strikes that one very calmly indeed, right between the uprights, and narrows the gap. And Wigan are working their way back into this one, 14-8.
They certainly are. They've played a lot better. That, as we mentioned in the first 40, that they've got very little possession. But I also feel that by taking those 2 points, it's also given a lot of credit because they are obviously respecting the way that London are playing. They know that those 2 points may not come along later in this match, and to pull it back to only 6 points, it's a good move to take it 2.
Sykes with the restart. Kevin Brown underneath it for the Warriors. Here's Jerry Siu. And he's enjoying himself out there. And the Wigan fans behind those posts are enjoying seeing him in action. Danny Sculthorpe, and Sculthorpe just had a little bit of treatment while Tickle was lining up that penalty kick. Seemed to have a bang on the knee. Sculthorpe. Here is Tickle. Mabou with the tackle, and Stevenson there as well. Trimble too. Jerry, see you. Moran. Well, still London enjoying the benefit of play the balls in the opposition half. Much bigger advantage than the Wigan Warriors, but the Warriors enjoying a real purple patch at the moment. Here's Mabou. And Wigan looking to pin the Broncos down, just to cramp their style a little bit. Plenty of style in that first half. Great to watch.
The one thing I've noticed of Wigan in the second half is that they've been a little bit more patient. They haven't tried to force the ball. We've seen a couple of times Danny Sculthorpe have the opportunity, but he's made sure that they've kept possession. They're going to grind this out, Wigan.
McClendon with the run. Of course, Budworth went off early in the game. Doesn't look as though he'll be coming back. And that kick too strong from Thomas Luluai. Kevin Brown, tackled by Mark McClendon. 7 seasons at Canberra, McClendon. And big things hoped for from him as far as the London Broncos go. Newton now. He could have a big influence on how this game pans out. He's having a big influence here.
Superb offload, wasn't it? And they've let him move.
It's Dave Allen who's got away. The ball out wide, flung back in field, and Allen was chasing it, but it's Thomas Luluai who comes up with it. Vialecki flung that ball back in field, but there was nobody there quickly enough.
Well, he knew he was going over the whitewash. He had to test the arm, and he certainly did, but very fortunate indeed for the Broncos. It's always a tense moment, isn't it, when you're a coach, when you're still behind.
Calm down, just call it through.
Referees wipe the tackle count clean. It's back to 6. And a great offload from Sykes, and the ball's away to Dawn. Dawn is looking for support. Wells was there, but Dawn couldn't find him. Quick play the ball. Mabou, here's Sykes once more. Sykes is taking him on up the middle. He'll go all the way with the London Broncos #1. And what another breakout attack from this London Broncos side. Tony Ray said you'd see some pretty dramatic, exciting rugby played at this ground this year. Probably the most exciting rugby in the capital. He's not wrong.
Without a doubt, and that was superb, wasn't it? Break from Dawn. It looked as though that they'd made a real meal of it, didn't they? Sykes started it, got the offload here, and the halfback took it away. It looked as though he couldn't get the chance to look at John Wells, who was coming on the inside. He played the ball quickly. That is sheer quality. Step off the left leg, back on the inside. Just held off. Look at that little bit of a shimmy. Oh, that is superb. Took it well. There's Wells trying to get through it, but the most important factor, they got to play the ball quickly. Good refereeing as well.
Steve-O, is that the difference between the London Broncos last year and the London Broncos this year? They can go from one end where they almost conceded a try and score at the other in less than 60 seconds.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt, Phil.
Sykes adds another 2 points, converting his own try. And London ahead by 20 points to 8. How frustrating must that be for the Warriors, having spent so much of this second half down at the other end of the field, to find themselves now conceding a try like that.
Well, they've just done a treat, didn't they? Remember, it was Redlinski that made that break against the run of play, and that's certainly the case on that occasion, but that was a quality effort. Getting back to your point, Phil, when you say, you know, they are a different outfit, there's a lot more quality and a lot more skill, and we said it so many times, you've mentioned it, is that in the past, it was always Dennis Moran. If Dennis Moran sparked, then so did London. And I think psychologically, last year, everyone just wanted Dennis to do everything. And at times, he did.
Yeah, they've got far more players who can score tries and who will score tries for them this season. That's made them dangerous. A penalty here now doesn't help Wigan's problems. You know, Wigan were in a similar position last week, Bill. 20 points to 12 against Widnes approaching the hour mark, and they came back and finished the last 20 minutes very strongly. It's a big test today for them to do it again.
Yeah, Wigan scored 3 tries in 12 minutes, I think, to pinch that victory at the Halton Stadium. But at the moment, they're on the back foot again, as this really confident, fluent Broncos side comes at them once more with Luluai.
Third, move, Jerome!
McLinden. Here's Luisi. Could have had a try himself already this evening. Tackle just short of that line. 4 tackles gone. Mabu. Luluai back on the infield, inside to Trindle. Nowhere for Trindle to go. Good defence from CUCU. Mabu will fancy his chances. He won't get there.
He's impressed me, you know, this fella, John Mabu.
He's not impressed his teammates for doing that, Steve. That's the second time he's done that.
I know that was silly play, but to be fair, you know, they're big shoes to fill when Neil Budworth went off. And I think he's done a very, very good job in that position under a lot of pressure in Millwood.
I think there, Steve, there's a big turning point in this game. It's the complex of the game. We're going to offload the ball quite a few times, but it's been intercepted by London, or they've gained possession. Now to get back in the game, they have to take those chances and offload the ball. And if they don't come up right, it'll give London more ball. So, you know, we're going to have to see how both teams handle this. Wigan offloading it. What does it eventuate? How do London handle the offload? And I think that's where they're in big trouble, Wigan.
Well, still a long way to go. 20 minutes left on the clock. And as we've mentioned already, this Warriors side has the ability to come back.
Widnes had the chance to actually win the game last week against Wigan and couldn't kill it off. London might get another chance soon. They need to take that and kill off the Wigan side.
Here's John Wells. He's back in this side after missing the last 2 games for the London Broncos. Wells. Stevenson up to the 40-metre line.
Ooh, that looked a bit dodgy as well.
And that's going to be good defence. Well, no, the ball stayed in the field of play. In fact, it's Wild who picked it up. It's Hopkins trying to keep the ball alive, flicked it back in field, and Stephen Wild pounced on the ball. So Wigan back in possession. Radlinski, Brown.
Well, Tony Ray will be furious at the way that Lee Hopkins took the short blindside. All they had to do was settle it down and make sure that they got the kick downfield. Position is vital. They're 20 points to 8 in front. No point playing in your own quarter. Get it downfield.
Jerry, CUCU. That's the 5th tackle.
On the line. Back foot.
Needs a good kick here. Newton back on the inside from Radlinski to Moran. Keeps the ball alive. Oh, basketball from Dawn.
Well, he got himself in a bad position there, Dennis Moran, and he knew that he had to try to offload. It was on the last. Well, the final pass, which denied London in the first 40. It's becoming a problem with Wigan as well. They're getting near the try line and just suffering the jitters.
Tyrone Smith takes the Broncos over that halfway line. McLinden. Luluai. Zeb Luisi.
Good combination, Bill, between Thomas Luluai and bringing his full back in. Luisi really has started looking for the work, and that is clever thinking.
We're going to have a free ball.
Mark McLinden's kick. And just tying Wigan down at the other end of the field.
And that's all they have to do, Bill. They've played the pretty rugby league football already tonight, and I'm sure that's what Tony Ray is saying down to them. They'll probably go for the killer punch if they get the opportunity.
Here's Sean O'Loughlin.
Bill, I see the next significant change in the game, unless of course the try happens, is the reintroduction of Wayne Godwin for Wigan, and that's I suppose what London will be focusing on, because he is a danger and a threat to them with his speed, almost a bit like Craig Wing when he came on for Australia in the test matches.
Yeah, but Phil, the problem there is your hooker's only as good as you go forward and how the forward movement you're making. They're making movement here. That's when he takes advantage.
This is great play from Kisei, but the ball, it comes to Brett Dallas. Somewhat fortuitously, it was a great offload initially from Jerry Siu that set that all going. Now here's a great opportunity for Vialecki. Vialecki back on the inside, scrambling defence from the Broncos. Still the pressure comes from the Wigan Warriors. Kisei's taken a knock. Newton escapes one tackle. Finds Radlinski up the middle. The Broncos defending valiantly, but can they keep Wigan at bay? Newton, it's on the last. Moran will stab the kick in. Oh, it's a knock-on. Surely a knock-on.
Well, the official has not seen it.
A knock-on and then a possibility of an offside.
Oh, that was a knock-on offside. You've called it right, Bill. And none of the three officials, I mean, the touch judge was virtually standing in front. Well, maybe Steve Ganson did not have a good view of that, but the touch judge did. That's a knock-on, and he's standing in front. So Luke Dawn should have been deemed offside. It should have been a penalty to Wigan. Oh, that could be the turning point of this game. Dennis Betts must be furious over that.
Sykes, again, the Broncos able to offload that ball. Dawn doing ever so well to take that one as it dipped behind him. And here's Joe Mabou.
Last! Keep coming, Joe.
Deep into the corner, that's all they got to do.
Fifth tackle. They're running it. And Wells puts the kick in. It's over the head of Radlinski, but he is so cool. But it's a good chase. And the penalty, I think,
He's been taken out in back play.
The touch judge is on.
Well, John Wells, I thought, did the wrong option. He makes a break and he adds a ball in the inside. That's a bad one.
That is Aspinwall.
He could go for that.
And that is...
He should be sent off. It's a trip. That is shocking. He'll go. He should go.
Martin.
Well, Martin Aspinwall has come off second best in that anyway.
Well, there's no excuse for that, Bill.
Listen to the report.
Oh, he's put it on report. That's ridiculous. If the touch judge has seen it, look, he's there. He sees everything. Oh, he should be off. It should be a red card. I don't agree with tripping.
Incidents on report.
Well, Martin Aspinwall is a very lucky young man. Right under the nose of the touch judge.
I'll give it 50-50, Bill, if it looks like an accident. But that wasn't. He turned his back, raised his leg, and deliberately went across. Oh, I can't believe that.
So, Wigan remain with 13 players on the field when it looked as though they might be reduced.
Well, this penalty and a further 2 points isn't their only problem. They've also got Jerome Guisset, who's just left the field and gone back into the dressing rooms. So they're down on another front rower, and that's a big blow if it's a serious injury to them, because Jerry Siu, Danny Schofield are both out there.
And they've got enough problems in the forwards as it is. I mean, Andy Farrell on his way out. Harrison Hansen's injured as well. Luke Dovico hasn't even featured this season.
It's amazing, you know, that the bad luck that Wigan have had, especially with prop forwards over the years.
Gareth Hock, of course, out for the rest of the season. Well, there's been no shortage of incident in this game, and that's just the latest incident. One which could have resulted in Martin Aspinwall being sent off. He's not. It's on report, and the Broncos have 2 more points. 22-8, they lead here at Griffin Park.
I think earlier, Phil, you talked about Wayne Goodwin coming on. And we see the incident here. Yeah, he's in front and there's a knock on. How things can turn up the other end, 2 points. I think, Phil, you made a point about Goodwin coming on and being the impotence for Wigan. I think the impotence for London is their fantastic go forward, and McClendon is the one reaping the benefits from that, and that's why London are making their way up the field so easily.
Tukey with a great rumbling charge for the Broncos. Oh, and they've gone without the ball. And it was Nick Bradley Kalingwala. No wonder they call him Nick Bradley at training.
Well, I won't even attempt it.
I've noticed that.
I tell you what, Bill.
Okay, time back on.
Nick Bradley, that'll do me. Now Wigan, they know they've got to score here. They're running out of time.
Oh, and David Violecki almost went without that one. Had Wells right in his face. As you saw there, Jerome Guisset has been replaced by David Allen.
Second, clear. Keep coming, good effort.
Here is Radlinski trying to inspire a fight back from his side now. 15 minutes on the clock. Still plenty of time for Wigan Warriors to get out of jail here.
Pretty good defence by London. You know, over the years, the one thing that's always hurt the London side has been their defence. Not this year.
Tickle finds Stephen Wild. Wild surely will get there. Just driven back short of that line. It looked for the moment as though the defence would open up in front of him. Newton fires that pass out. Moran ducks under the challenge, trying to go himself. And squeeze the pass out in the end, and it's the Broncos who come up with it. And it hasn't been a happy return to Griffin Park for the former Broncos favourite, Dennis Moran.
They've shut him down. And if there's one person that does know all about it, no, Sears got in with a big one. And one of his own players, I think it was Bob Beswick, came off second best. Just making that point. Tony Ray knows everything about Dennis Moran, and they really have done a good job on him tonight.
The Broncos fans getting behind their side. And there's a kick chase, and Sykes trying to get on the end of it, but it just bounced away from him.
Wigan head and feet.
Well, is that confidence or overconfidence? 22-8 in a good position.
They look as though they're willing to try just about anything, this Broncos side.
Well, they're in confidence, aren't they? Look at the scoreboard, look at the go forward. You know, if you look at everything in them, everything is going forward and everyone's responding. They're working for each other off the ball well, and they're supporting the ball carrier because they're anticipating a pass. And I think if you get back to that point too, Steve-O, and you imagine American gridiron, the quarterback needs people to go forward and win the ruck area. And that's why Dennis Moran hasn't been as effective, because they haven't won any of the ruck area here tonight. London are completely dominated on their own patch.
Getting to that point as well, Ian, is the fact that, you know, they're in a very, very good position, 22-8. Would you be wanting them to do a little chip over the top, or would you be wanting them to kick into the corner just to slow it all down?
Well, at the moment, Wigan are struggling to get out their half, so you want to kick in the corner and really rev your defence up and really get some good line speed and get into them. So, you know, at the moment, the kicking game's vital for London for field position and where they want to dominate on that last tackle.
Wells, 2 bites of the cherry there, managed to come up with it. Aspinwall with the tackle. Shouldn't be on the field, really. He's on report instead.
Second, good.
McClendon. Luluai. Armour.
Third. Keep coming, Terry. Good effort, man. Good luck. Good.
Solomon. Hamona. London working their way up the field again. McClendon. Oh, lovely little step from Mark McClendon. He's got Dawn in support, and he's inside. He's gone on the outside. Wells is there. So is Hopkins. And Hopkins scrambles his way over the try line. Steve Ganson checks with the touch judge and awards the try in the end. He went the long way round, Lee Hopkins.
Sensational try, brought about the sheer quality in the step from McClendon. Superb. Bit of a high shot. They went very, very high indeed. Sheer desperation, but watch the quality and the step on this guy. Throw the dummy back on the inside. Not many can do that to Sean O'Loughlin. And not the best attempt. First time, poor. Second time, even worse. He's impressed with this fella, Lee Hopkins. And if the rumour is correct, you've got to say that Wigan knew all the quality about this guy. And this is it. 1 high shot, 2 high shots. 2 turns into 4. He won't mind the bruises. He's won the game for the Broncos.
I'm not sure he appreciated his teammates landing on top of him then after he'd just taken a couple of high shots. But they appreciated his effort. He got 2 tries in that victory over the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. And he's on the scoreboard again tonight. Well, Sykes, immaculate so far with the boots. Can he continue with this kicking vein of form? He can. 6 from 6 from Paul Sykes, 28-8, and Sykes, already holder of the club goal-kicking record. He kicked 12 from 12 against Wakefield, beating the record that had been jointly held by Terry Mattison, Greg Pearce and Steve Guyatt. And the Cowgirls are celebrating here at Griffin Park.
And so the crowd, Bill, and they fully deserve it, because this has been a vintage performance by the Broncos. I saw them just absolutely just take Wakefield apart, but this tonight has been a better display.
Tukey with the charge. Mabou.
Keep coming.
Here's Luke Dawn. Dawn tackled by Dennis Moran. You've got to say that Wigan are missing these key players. Brian Carney still absent. Here is Sykes. Sykes on his way again for another one. Second try of the night for Paul Sykes. And the former Bradford Academy player really enjoying life in the capital. He's enjoying life tonight. His second try.
I pose the question, just after the restart, how much would it take out of Wigan having to do all that defence in the first 40 minutes? And you can see quite clearly now that they are out on their feet. The attempts, they're just grabbing. They're not putting themselves in a good position. Some are moving forward in defence, others are hanging back. And I think mainly they're hanging back because they are that tired. Take nothing away from the ability of this fella. He always impresses me. Sykes is a quality player. And it's the look on those Wigan faces just about says it all.
20 points tonight for Paul Sykes. 6 from 6, but another tricky conversion for him. But the way he's been kicking goals tonight, the way he's been kicking goals this season, you wouldn't put it past him landing this one as well to extend this Broncos advantage. And they really are hammering home the advantage now. He's landed another one. London now coasting to victory. 34-8 they lead.
Got a beautiful relaxed action as well as Sykes follows through with the ball. The Bronco is happy. So are the girls, the cheer girls. But I know there'll be a group of players here in Millwood that are even happier, and they're wearing red and black tonight.
Well, they've been fantastic here tonight, and you're right. Now, all the energy they've done earlier, Wigan, you've only got so much energy level in your body, and it's that wear and tear. But the wear and tears come from the way that they've sort of manipulated their defence, Wigan, and the way they've continually kept at it. And it's been a very, very impressive performance. And then if you look at their last few games, they've scored over 100-something points in their last 2 games at home. I think when we play here at St Helens, I might have to play 15 defenders, I think.
Can you imagine what sort of game that'll be if Saints are in the mood as well?
Well, I've got to say, you know, it's we're only talking about a week ago. This club was nearly on extinction, and then we were talking about here on Saturday night on Sky, and some fantastic performance, and they moved into the top 6, Steve-O.
Well, Tony Ray, before the season started, he said, look, we're going to shock a few people. He says, we have done our homework. We've gone for very, very good players, including a player, of course, that you just picked up.
Yeah, he has, and you know, they'd signed all theirs. It was a little bit to do with registration and all that with Vinny, but I'm sure there were some vultures circling last week for some of these players after their performance in the first 5 games of Super League.
Well, and the performance tonight, Bill, the way that the Broncos have played, they've certainly shot down a few of those birds, haven't they?
Good to see, meanwhile, Jerome Guisset is back out there for the Wigan Warriors. That'll be a relief. But Dennis Moran, well, when he was here, he could do no wrong. But it has all gone wrong tonight for him and the Warriors. 77 tries in 115 appearances during his 4 years as a London Bronco. No joy tonight.
No, we've talked about London's attacking ability of the last few weeks, and it's been great tonight. But what about the defence? I know it's not vintage Wigan, but they've restricted them to just one try. With 5 minutes to go, they'd like to keep it that way.
Vialecki would like to do something about it. They will do something about it with Stephen Wild. Phil Clark on the nail again.
Nostradamus.
Exactly.
Phil Clark.
Nostradamus.
I said they'd like to keep it that way. Maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they're correcting me.
Stephen Wild's first try of the season, and a simple one it was.
And it was misdirected pass by Sean O'Loughlin. Missed out Brown. It wasn't meant to be. I think it was supposed to go to the standoff. But it was a good finish. Very good finish indeed, Phil.
I was just going to give Paul Sykes my vote for man of the match, but he gets lost here in defence. Whenever you're running in the same direction as an attacker, you know you're in trouble, and he was chasing some of the Wigan players from behind there. He just pushed up too far on the ball.
Well, I'm not a betting man, but I must say that the British press and David Hatfield, I'm sure, would be very close to giving Mr. Sykes the watch, but we'll soon find out.
You can never tell. Danny Tickle, meanwhile, has landed the conversion, and Wigan salvaging some pride maybe. 34-14 the scoreline. Just a glimpse of what they're capable of. Well, April the 16th we can look forward to, and the Broncos meet St Helens, and you can see that one on Sky Sports, and that would be a game to look forward to if both sides go about it with the sort of abandon that they're capable of.
Well, you look at the atmosphere here tonight, it's been fantastic, and and both teams are playing well, and I've got to say, the movement in attack in Super League 10 has been fantastic by all teams concerned, and I feel the game's gone up a little bit of a level this year, Phil and Steve-O, with the enterprising attack. So your defence has to be good, but you're going to have to be able to continue attack.
Ian, that word in enterprise is the difference this year.
We've got to find out who's got the man of the match. Steve-O has already given his vote for Paul Sykes. Wonder who's got it. Dave Hadfield.
Wigan have just been worked to death by this exhilarating brand of rugby that the Broncos have played, haven't they? You've got to admire the way somebody like Bob Bezick's come in, so young and inexperienced, and done very well under those circumstances. But so many London players we could have picked. McLinden, Dawn, Lulai, they've all got votes. And Paul Sykes, he's been absolutely brilliant in attack. But the man we've gone for, we feel that he's really put them on the road in the first half. It is bullocking runs, Solomon Amono.
A popular choice among the crowd here at Griffin Park. But Wigan at least finishing with a flourish. Here is Wayne Godwin. Dallas goes down the short side. The ball fired out wide to Vialecki. And this is probably taking a little bit of gloss, perhaps, off London's performance as Wigan just run in some late tries. Too late to affect the result, you feel. But David Vialecki with his 4th try of the season.
Well, it's a very tired London defence here. You can see that 2 men went for the ball carrier. Suddenly it was offloaded. Vialecki had a walk-in the end. It won't be good watching by the coach, Tony Ray. He'll be bitterly disappointed because the one thing that they have often lacked as the London Broncos over the years is the ability to apply the killer punch. And I'm sure that Tony realises they're in with a good, they have the quality to make the top 6 this year, but it could go down to points difference.
Tickle has done really well there because he lost his footing as he kicked that ball. He still managed to land the conversion. 34-20 the scoreline. Vialecki the latest try scorer for the Wigan Warriors, but they've left it too late.
Time off.
Steve Ganson stopped the clock.
Well, this will be a deep kick right into the corner. And maybe a few of the Broncos' minds just going astray, maybe thinking about the celebrations. It's a good win by the Broncos tonight. Very solid.
They haven't won that many against the Wigan Warriors over the years, London. So when a win comes along, you can be sure they'll enjoy it. And this will consolidate their position in the top 6. It has been a really torrid couple of weeks in the history of the London club, and all the talk about affairs off the field. The players have just gone on with the job, and you've got to give them credit for that. It's not their fault that the club's been in the situation it's been in.
You're right, Bill, and they've responded superbly tonight, haven't they? And not only that, Tony Ray has often said, we have got to make sure that we win our home games, and they are undefeated here this season.
Hopkins very coolly does that collection job for the Broncos, and he's still going, Lee Hopkins. He must have been in the running for the Man of the Match award as well. Second. 30 seconds to go, and the Broncos on course for a 3rd consecutive Super League win. It'll be the first time in 3 years they've managed to achieve that. Luluai.
Keep coming.
And Wigan's shaky start to the season continues. They've gone down to another defeat as Dawn takes the tackle. It'll be the last one, but it might not be the last action, because there could be another opportunity here for the Broncos, but Mabu will take the tackle, and I think that'll be the last one of the game. Although Steve Ganson did not like that tackle on Joe Mabu. A little bit of frustration at the end there. Joe Mabu didn't particularly enjoy the experience either.
No one could hear you tonight.
And Stephen Wild, the last man in there. And in fact, I think Steve Ganson has blown for full time now after just a few words to calm that situation down. It's the Broncos who are celebrating this 3rd consecutive victory. A really glittering performance of attacking rugby league football. Luke Dawn at the heart of it. And celebrations for the Broncos supporters. 34-20, they win this one.
And they certainly have done it in convincing style, London Broncos. In fact, 5 tries to 3 over Wigan Warriors. The try scorers for the Broncos, Tukey, Homono, Sykes with a brace, and Hopkins. Paul Sykes, 7 from 7. He's in hot form with the boot. And for the Warriors, a couple of their late tries, really consolations. Their try scorers, Radlinski, Wild, Violecki, and Tickle kicking 4. Full time at Griffin Park, 34 points to 20 in favour of the home side. Well, Tony Ray through the week said he was going to play an exciting style of football. To quote Tony Ray, it would be the best rugby you'll see, gentlemen, anywhere in the capital. And on that performance, you've got to say, Ian, they are a very colourful attacking team.
Well, the difference between this London team, obviously different players, and the quality is very good. But normally they start the year very slowly and they get behind, and then they've got to come hard late in the year. This year they've started very well, and I've got to say that 34-20 scoreline, they're a much better team than 14 points. Watching up here, I would have thought they won by 20-something.
Yeah, there they are. They're very happy, aren't they, to be here, Steve-O. You were here when they recorded 72 points to 8 a couple of weeks ago against Wakefield. You saw the London fans. They've come out in good numbers to support their team after what's been a difficult week, and the players have added that with interest.
Yeah, they've responded well, and as Ian Millwood said just before the end of the game, that, you know, enterprise is the key factor. A lot more sides have been more adventurous with the football. We've often seen it over the past, say, 2 or 3 seasons that defensive quality has perhaps taken a little bit of gloss off Super League, but it has certainly come back. This season has been quite superb. We've had some fantastic finishes, but I think you'd see the look on the face of this Wigan outfit. We mentioned the fact they worked so hard in the first 40 minutes. I have to say they were out on their feet when it came to the last 10 minutes. Okay, they scored 2 consolation tries, but at that point it was all over, and the London fans, they were fully aware they were going to get the vital 2 points.
They are happy in the capital. Phil Clark, we talked about the impact Dennis Moran would bring back to Griffin Park. Tony Ray in the off-season recruited Luluai, Dawn, to fill that position, plus a handy player in Mark McClendon. They have got so many options this year, London.
They haven't. It's made them a much more dangerous side. I don't think you could point the finger at one man, because one man never makes a rugby team, or one man can never really be responsible for a victory or a defeat. I think we're just got to believe that tough times don't last, tough people do, and eventually if they continue to play with that sort of character and that sort of determination, they've got a great chance of staying in there.
Okay, well, one man who put in giant strides at Griffin Park here this evening is that man there, Solomon Hamono. He's man of the match, and he's with Bill.
Solomon, congratulations on a man of the match performance. It was great to watch. It must have been a good game to play in as well.
No, it's always great to play in front of the home crowd here. Tony gave us instructions this week to work on our D, and the boys responded tonight, so great to the boys, the London Broncos.
We've read so much about the off-the-field problems here. You guys just seem to have got your heads down and got on with the job, really.
Yeah, you know, we've bonded stronger as a pact, and you know, we've got all these outside forces always trying to weaken our strengths. But you know, we responded tonight, and you know, that's what Tony instructed us, and the boys did it tonight.
Sure did. Congratulations on a man of the match performance.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Well, Tony is Tony Ray, the Broncos coach, and you said that if you wanted to see exciting rugby in London, this was the place to come. I think they justified your faith tonight, didn't they?
Yeah, 100%. You know, I just think they're a real exciting bunch of blokes to work with. I think they play a really exciting brand of rugby league, and I think just everyone in London, if they get out there, you know, the place is buzzing with it. You know, I'm just really happy with how they're pulling together, and more than anything, I'm happy with how they're playing the game.
Have you got every faith in them at 100% of the time during the game, or are there times when you think, you know, that you've really got to rein it in, or do you just leave them to do what they want?
There's a lot of work goes into getting that nice flashy stuff that looks flashy on the surface, but it's got to be constructed right, you know. And so, you know, I'm sitting there looking at making sure they're putting ourselves in a good position to do that, and that's our responsibility as a group, is to make sure we do the hard work, because we've got some talent in there, and when the talent clicks in, you're going to have some good nights like we did tonight.
But was there a concern maybe at one point that you had all the possession? I mean, amazing stats of how many play the balls you had in the opposition half, and yet you weren't getting a lot to show for it. Did that concern you?
It was all good news, I thought, those stats as you went through. You know, said we're in the right part of the ball game, and provided we're in control of it and they're not worrying about it, then we'd have been okay there. And you know, they're a good team. It was a really good game. I thought they're a talented team, and you know, that was the good thing about it. You know, they made us go out and earn it, and I respect the young fellas have come in and done a really good job for Wigan as well tonight. But you know, I really like the way our blokes are stuck together and shows such great crowd pride and commitment to each other.
Thanks, Tony.
Pleasure.
On Sky Sports, Newcastle Knights against Canberra is the live match from the NRL in Australia.